to the music scene, showing lots of love for the community. With great advice, I know who I should go see. So all around town radio show. Where I go for the latest planned info. So there's all around town radio show for the music that comforts my soul. It's the all around town radio show. The all around town radio.
Hey everybody, welcome to the program. It is Hot Topic Tuesday. Good to have you with us today. I'll tell you what's up here in a minute. We'll be right back. Stick around. Stick around.
It's the Weekend Review. Top 5 are coming for you. Speaking with the fans, sometimes they don't show well. Whatever, man. We're covering who's playing out off the open jam with the Who's Who of Talent. Come Friday night, ready to race on hell. With heart, you know, plan to do it well. So all around town radio show. It's where I go for the latest planned info. So good. So all around town radio show for the music that comforts my soul. It's the all around town radio show. The all around town radio.
Well, welcome everybody on a Hot Topic Tuesday. I'm Scott, your host with the most. Ceris is on special assignment today. And we have a co-host, but we're having some technical difficulties getting my co-host in here today. So give us a minute and we'll see if that works out. If it doesn't, you're going to get me, and you can all turn it off now because I know who you're here to see anyway. So that's how it works on Tuesdays. Let me say hi to some folks that are checking in. Glenn, you're premature saying Ceris and Scott because she's not here today. Ceris is out of town, by the way. And we do have a co-host we're waiting on to pop in if they can get this thing connected the way it needs to be. And they're connecting, but they don't have audio or video. So we'll get to that in just a minute. What's going on, Cheryl K. Wood? Thank you so much for being here. Ed Sawicki, thank you. Guys, I had 6 shows in 5 days. My voice is shot, but I'm going to give it a shot today and see what we can do. If not, we'll just thank you for watching and go somewhere else. Tuesday Booze Day. I will not be receiving booze today, Steve, unless you want to throw a bunch of F-bombs in there and then you're buying them for me. That's how that's going to work. Hi, Carla. How are you? Josh Baker, thank you. ATP is represented. Roger, thank you for being here. Yes, quit saying let it snow, Glenn. Gosh, somebody go to Glenn's house right now and make him go outside and do snow angels or something. Ain't nobody got time for that. No, we don't. Hi, Connie. How are you? Thank you. Geraldine, thank you. And I'll tell you all up front, Ceris is not here today. She's out of town. So we have a co-host that's trying to connect. And I will tell you, too, you won't offend me if you're here to watch her do F-bombs. So you can do whatever you want. But we've got a topic today to talk about. A couple of them, actually. And before we do that, while I wait on my co-host, who's got some great insight on this topic, I want to say hi to a few more people. Heather, how are you? What's up? If you guys follow my personal page, this chat GPT thing going on with all the little cartoon characters and those kind of things that are going on, caricatures, I guess, if you want to put it that way, is just absolutely going viral all over the place. So I did post on my page to drop those in the comments. So if you've made one, please drop it in my comments on my personal page because I am having a blast looking at those. It's just hilarious. And some of them are really, really good and some of them are really bad. Yeah, it's funny how that does that to you. Like you're missing fingers, or you've got little stubby hands. You look like a T-Rex in some of them. It's pretty wild. It is, but some of them are really good. Hi, Jay Grant. Thank you. And you can say hello to you too, but it's just me too right now. And how you doing, Melody? Thank you for being with us. Brandon Harvey in the house. What's up, buddy? Good to see you over the weekend, man. What a great event we had there at the Hidden Gem on Sunday. Did you guys see the total on that? $14,100 and still climbing. We announced that on the show yesterday, but killer lineup of music we had over the weekend. Good stuff. We did mention it yesterday on our weekend update. But let's see what we got here. I think I may have success here. We may have success. Give me just a second. We'll get our co-host added into the mix here. And help me welcome to the stage today, guys, in the show, if you will. My one and only fill-in today, Mr. Bob Klein. How are you, buddy?
I am doing well. How are you, Scott?
We got it. It's work.
Success.
I'll tell you, it's fun, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Technology, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I did nothing different than the last couple times, and
I know it just.
Here we are. So
yeah, it has its moments. It does. And welcome to the program, buddy. I'm saying hi to some people here. Let me catch that here. Brian, thank you. Erica, thank you. Mike, thank you so much. And yeah, I would like that, Brandon Harvey, because after 6 shows in 5 days, I have no voice. So Bob's going to do a lot of talking today. He doesn't know that yet, but he's going to do a lot of talking. And Bob Klein, everybody, is in Rock House. He's the drummer for the band Rock House out of Columbus, Ohio. And Bob always has some great insight on our shows. And Bob, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks. It's a pleasure, Scott. It's been a while since we've actually talked, so this is nice.
It has. This is going to be fun. Little last minute thing. Karis took a little vacation, went out of town, and she did message me yesterday and said, I can try to get in from down here. I think she's out of the country, but that never works real well on the Wi-Fi. So we just told her to take a nice vacation day, which I'll be doing as well, and she'll be joining us on some shows solo. So that'll be going on with some special guests. Right. We tried to get Megan Miller to join Bob and I, but she was busy today. She's much better looking than both of us.
I was just going to say exactly that. That would definitely be your first choice. I can think of a lot of other choices actually.
Well, neither one of us have the face for the TV show here. We have face for radio, but that's how that works. Bob, we're going to talk about a couple topics. Bob is very, very savvy in band business and running a band and running a professional organization. And I'm going to lead in with that because Rock House it's pro band. I mean, you guys play all over the place. You go into little towns, you go into big towns, you play festivals and events. And you've been doing it a while, so you've got kind of the ins and outs of the business. And I think a lot of musicians today can learn from you and some of the things we're going to talk about. So I welcome you and welcome your knowledge today, buddy.
I'll see what I can do.
We'll see. But we're going to talk about the business today of being in the band, and we're also going to talk about things from the audience perspective as we get into that a little later on. But let's talk about the business of being in the band and how do you determine if you run a well-oiled band, who's responsible for what? I think that's my first question. And young people who want to start a band say that. Well, who's going to run the money? Who's going to run this? Who's going to do that? How do you guys determine that?
I think that from my point of view, I think that varies from band to band. I mean, it kind of depends on what your end game is, what your goal is. For us, it's pretty cut and dried. I mean, my lead singer, who is actually the owner of the band, we're set up as an LLC. He's the business behind it. I mean, for 99% of it, I help out here and there, but he does all of the booking. He set up the business. He takes care of we have insurance. He takes care of paying us, our salaries. And that's another big issue with bands. How is the pay divided up? In our case, it gets split up, but there's also a portion that gets tucked away for the band. For the band fund, whether that be travel, flights. Also, like we talked about the insurance. all the stuff that we have up on the stage, that costs money. You name it. There's all kinds of things that come into play. So as far as the business end of it goes, I mean, he kind of runs that with obviously with our input too. We're not, it's not just a strictly like an employer and an employee relationship by any means. We all kind of have a say in everything, but at the end of the day, the buck kind of stops with him, and it works for us. That probably doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah, I'm curious about something because you said you're an LLC and he's the owner of the band.
Yes.
That I've seen over time can be good and can be very bad.
Yeah.
Especially when people want to leave the band and then they want to be bought out because we're part owners or we're this or we're that. And I mean, just let's say your lead singer decides I'm done. I want to move on, but you guys want to keep the band going. Do you have some sort of provisions for that if that happens?
We could do whatever we want. We just couldn't call ourselves Rock House. We could go and find another singer and we'd have to, start over again or something. We could do the exact same thing if we wanted to, but we would have to call ourselves something else and whatever. And that's why I'm saying like, this isn't for everybody. This just works for us. We also, we're very fortunate and we all happen to like each other a lot and we trust each other,
Yes.
and that is, I'm finding kind of rare. So
you think?
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it just, like I said, it works for us. I'm not saying this is for everybody because it's not. I could see scenarios where this could get tricky and feelings could get hurt and everything, but I have the utmost trust in him. He's a great friend of mine, and I know that he's got the best interest of the band in mind when it comes to that, and we all feel that way. So that's kind of how we operate.
Yeah, and it's kind of Little River Band-esque here because if you remember that story, and I know Glenn knows the story pretty well because he's pretty tight with some of those guys, but it's interesting when people decide to split up what happens and who buys the name and who owns the name and who can't now tour under the name and all that. Like you said, like Rock House, he owns the name Rock House. So, if you want to start a new band, it might be House of Rock. It could be something else that you've got to change it up a little bit to get by and around all that ownership, I guess, issues, right?
Yeah, well, that's actually, I should have said this earlier. That happened. The band originally was called No Regrets, and about 7 or 8 years ago, it was tragic. One of there were 2 guitar players in the band at the time, and one of the guitar players was named Luke. This was before I was in the band, a couple years before I was in the band. Just had a massive heart attack and died. It was awful. He was the guy that was in the greatest shape. He ran marathons, he did all the right things, and he just died. And he was one of the owners of that name. And so they had some commitments to keep, a couple of shows that they had to play after that. And then kind of had to decide what they wanted to do, if they, the guys, if they wanted to go on or if that was going to be it. And the remaining members, except for one, who was the other, it was a co-ownership of the name. And because of business reasons and for whatever reasons, he decided to keep that name, and the other guys said they wanted to go on. So that's when Rock House was formed. So they had to go through the whole thing again. And, and luckily for us, it's worked out. But yeah, we went through that process.
Well, what about putting your eggs all in one basket like that? Because you've got an owner, one guy that owns the band, so to speak. Do you think that's a good thing? If you were giving a recommendation to people, would you say that's a good thing or it could be a risky thing?
Well, I'm going to take Dewey's advice and say, yeah, I'm fucking taking a chance here.
Thanks. You owe me a Jameson now.
Yeah. No, like I said, man, it's not for everybody. It works for us.
Thanks, Carla.
I'm putting my eggs in this basket because I trust him and because I know him. And he has never, ever given me a reason to think anything otherwise. And I'm also, and I think the other guys in the band too, we're realistic about this. We're all 50 something, guys in a band that we're in a cover band that we're lucky, we're from Columbus, Ohio, and we're lucky that we get to go and do some pretty cool things throughout the year, and we're fortunate and all that good stuff. But this could go away tomorrow, for a number of reasons. So I've got an actual career, and so do the rest of the guys in the band. So if this band, and it will, it might be a couple, 2 years, 3 years from now, whatever, it's going to fizzle out at some point for one reason or another. So we're just, I'm having fun while we're doing it now. The other guys are, and that's how it is.
When all us old people that love your era of music that you play die,
we're going to age out.
Yeah. We are. Yeah. We're going to age out. And you're not a bunch of kids either who you're going to break up the band because somebody brought tacos to rehearsal instead of pizza. I mean, that happens in the young kids world a lot. Yeah, and they just look for a reason to be mad at each other or something. And you guys, I mean, you're a pro outfit. You come in, you're always professional. You set up your show, you do your show. And there's all kinds of things that go in, and we've discussed this on the show, but I really want to touch on this with you because you seem to have a good handle on the business side of things a little bit. And when it comes to operating merch and operating financials, taxes, all that with the band, I mean, your guy is paying you guys and all that, but you all have to be cognizant of the fact that is what's got to happen in today's world with a pro band. And you're getting paid, especially by municipalities, like you played Lebanon's big outdoor thing. And, when they write you a check, that they're not gonna say, oh, you don't have to pay taxes on this money. They're a city, a municipality. So, and most venues today require a 1099 and things like that too from the band. So
yeah.
Who gets that tax hit?
We all do. We all share it. Yeah. So the band is set up as an LLC, has a tax ID, all that stuff. But every dollar that I'm paid throughout the year, I track, and I claim that on my taxes. And so do the rest of the guys. And then I'm a kind of a nerd, and I like to know exactly what I have and what I don't. And I keep a spreadsheet for the rest of the guys in the band that tracks every mile that we put on, for band. I track every expense that I have, all that, and we all do. And that's a write-off, it's, so we do that. And it's important. I mean, it's a job, as much as I love doing this and we love this, it's a job. And, fortunately for us, we make enough that we need to pay tax on it.
Right. And I've known bands that played that were very good, and the lead in the band was like, wouldn't accept anything but cash and basically fizzled theirself out of business, in a lot of ways. Or, and then it was like, well, we're going to write you a check. I don't have a bank account, the guy was saying, and that kind of stuff. So he lived strictly off a box of cash at home that he'd keep his money in, and sometimes that's not the most pro move when you're dealing with a venue, especially a legit venue that's going to want to, track their money as well, because they can write off paying a band.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the kind of thing that'll get you hired versus somebody that doesn't have that. To me, that's like 101. You have to have that. You really should be insured, for talking to the business end as well. I mean, if you want to open yourselves up to doing bigger venues and bigger events and stuff like that, that's one of the first questions that they're going to ask is, are you insured? So we are, and it doesn't cost that much money. I mean, it really doesn't. Like, if you think of what you pay for insurance for a year for a policy, versus the amount of dollars that you're going to make because you have that, it's a no-brainer.
Well, and many festivals and events like that require you to have insurance. I mean, it's just on the contract, and you got to have it. And, rather than taking it out for a one-stop show, I think it's important that you have it all the time, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you think Great White ever imagined they were going to burn up a bunch of people due to their pyro guy that they hired on the side? I mean, some guy that was doing production for them.
Yeah.
I mean, that never crossed their mind in a million years. And
sure,
they were tied up in court a long time over that, I'm sure, at least. But, we've covered a lot of this, Bob, but you always, like I said, have this insight into it. And we've talked about being a pro band. And for those musicians that are out there, if you've had any experience with what we're talking about today, please drop it in the comments, because especially when it comes to how you run your band, I'd love to hear from you on, do you have everybody has equal weight? Everybody, who does the money? Who does this? Or do we divide up the duties? I mean, in your band, do you divide the duties, Bob? Is there somebody that takes merch and somebody that takes financials and all that? Some bands do that.
Not a lot. Like that's a singer. And that's kind of, to me, I'm willing to kind of help pay for that, so I don't have to do it. He handles. Does he
get a bigger cut?
Yeah, yes, sure.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I don't know exactly what it is, but I know what I get, and it's more than fair. And and like I said, I trust him. He's not, he's taken a fair share to do that, and it costs money. I mean, like we've considered hiring a social media person for the last couple of years. I know that's been one of his big thoughts, and investing in that, but we just kind of haven't gone that way yet.
And I've seen some bad experiences with that too. I mean, everybody talks a good game about, I'll do your social media and I'll do X amount of posts a week, and then it just kind of fizzles out, and they're not doing what you want them to do. It's not your mind, I think. I don't know. There's probably great social media people out there I'm offending right now, but anything I've seen people say, oh, this is my social media girl, or this is my social media person, it never lasts. And I wonder why.
I think that at the end of the day, we still like having control of that and being able to put out what we want. And, he's clever, and he comes up with, funny stuff, and, the posts always look good. And, it's just not something we're willing to give up. But like I said, I mean, he handles all that stuff. I mean, and I know a ton of people in bands where, let's say it's a 5-piece. They divide up the duties 5 ways. Maybe there's one person who's strong and social, so that's what they do. One person you can trust with the money, and that's what they do. And one person has tons of contacts, and they're the ones that do the booking. Or maybe it's split up. But I like the situation I'm in where I don't really have to do much of it. I'll hustle some with them.
You've got a daytime gig, man. I mean, you've got something else. Now, does your singer have another job as well?
Yeah, he does.
So he's working hard then.
He does, but he's also he's in a position, and he's put himself in a position where his work is flexible, and he can work from home a lot, and he can work. I mean, he's been out in Florida since the first of the year. That's why we don't play. And that's one of the reasons we don't play in the wintertime. We fire it back up in March, but
that and who wants to roll road cases through the snow? Yeah, nobody wants to roll road cases through the snow.
Right.
I don't.
That's why we don't play.
And you're a drummer. I am going to say that, I heard from a band not too long ago that they pay their drummer more. They pay their drummer a little more than the rest of the guys because of his setup teardown. And I thought that was interesting because, the lead singer walks in with his wireless mic in a bag and plugs it in or whatever, and doesn't have a whole lot of loadout and those kind of things. The drummer's there for a long time before and a long time after if you're setting a full kit up. I mean, there's no, even though you're good at it, I'm sure.
I'd like to know how the hell that guy's getting away with that, because that sounds like a good gig to have. I mean, selfishly, maybe I've thought that before, but I would never ask that. I can say this, my singer, so he's not just the guy that's bringing a microphone. I mean, he's bringing all of the equipment, all the stage stuff that we have up there. It's him, all the props, all of the pyro and the smoke, and you name it, like that's all him. And it takes him almost as long to set that stuff up as it does me to set up my kit. So,
he's pulling his weight.
Yeah. What's that?
He's pulling his weight as the lead singer.
Yeah, he's definitely pulling his weight. Now, the bass player and the guitar player, I mean, they show up with an amp and a guitar, and that's it. So those guys I have a problem with, but him, no. He's good.
We'll tell him that too next time we see him.
Yeah.
Thank you for that comment, Ed Sawicki. Hi, Dick Fletcher. Thank you for being here, buddy. Good to see you. Brad, how you doing? Greetings from somewhere south. Yeah, 63 degrees is like an inferno. Brad's on world tour with Abe's Lincoln right now. They're out of the state. So
I've seen the videos that he's put out. There's a couple good ones.
Good stuff. And Here's Dewey with the Bret Michaels rumor, 600% more than does your singer demand that, like Bret Michaels.
Yeah.
I'd like to know if that's really true or that's just BS. But I've known Bret Michaels and I've worked with Bret Michaels. He's one of the nicest guys in the world. I cannot imagine him being going to phrase a dick like that to the rest of the band, but maybe, I don't know. It might be his people, you know.
It's hard to know what to believe. The one thing that bothers me about that whole thing, his guitar player front, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, from his Bret Michaels band, has been like doing all of his talking. You know what I mean? Like he's the one putting out the quote. I mean, Bret hasn't said boo hardly about any of this stuff.
Yeah, it's fun to watch some of that stuff happen. I think things go viral, but running a band has to be a pro outfit, Bob. And we've talked about this. Chad says, I used to be in the Chatty Rock band. Now I'm rich. Thank you, Chad. But it's a very interesting thing because I've been seeing recently, there's a lot of band lineup changes. And let's get into that for just a minute too, because that affects the bottom line of the band. And Ceris and I have had the shows about it, and her opinion on it. You've probably heard it, but if she books a band based on what she's seen and said, "Oh, they're a good band," she books Rock House, and then you come in with two brand new players who don't know your material very well. The show's not nearly the same as it was when she saw you when you were at your peak game and all that.
Yep.
What do you think about that? Because that tends to happen quite a bit.
That's tough. We played several shows last year with subs. We had a sub bass player for 2 shows, I think, and then one of the trips to Key West that we took last year, we had a guy playing guitar with us that isn't in the band. Now he's a kid. He's 20. Gosh, I think he just turned 22, and he's phenomenal. He's great. He did a fantastic job. But it does change it. We're not the same band. When we have other players in there, the guys and I have been playing together for so long that it's super easy to feed off of each other. I know where the bass player is going before he gets there, and same thing with me. And we've got our shtick that we do on stage and the banter, and the same thing that I've heard 500 times. It's probably that one person in the audience, first time that they've ever heard it. But it all adds up to the show. It's all part of it. And when any part of that is not there, it's different. It doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's just different. And I've seen cases where, maybe people have gone out with a sub that they shouldn't have. Maybe they just weren't ready for it or whatever that may be. But, I think you got to be upfront and honest about it and not try and certainly pull one over on anybody on a venue or bar owner or because it is different. It's not the same thing,
I've seen that. I mean, I've seen that act where the band is at the peak of their game. They're really good and they command a good dollar. And then they come in with these subs and the show is subpar. I mean, it's just not rehearsed well enough. They didn't practice, whatever. Or you can bring a sub in that sometimes is better than the guy you have playing. I mean, there's some people that sub around town. Jonathan Grooms is a great bass player. And when he subs for bands, man, it's like, nothing happened. I mean, it's like the band is there. They're great. And usually he adds a whole lot of flair. So that's a two-edged sword too, isn't it? I think on both sides. Yeah.
And I think, we've, I don't know, at the risk of sounding cocky, like we have a standard, and we're not just going to take anybody.
Bronson, that's bullshit. He knows it too.
Agreed.
He knows it. And Steve says the private plane ain't cheap. It is not. Brett's got one too. He does. I've seen it. And a lot of money. Carlos giving us a comment. Let's see here. Very selective. Yeah, it's an interesting thing on how to run a band. It is, and there's a lot of things that piss people off in a band. There's, and you're very fortunate, Bob. I noticed the night I was in Lebanon watching you guys play that your band is so cohesive and off stage, you guys were cutting up and having fun. You look like you enjoy being around each other. Where I've worked with some bands that, man, on the break, they go to neutral corners and don't speak to each other. I mean, it's like we're out here to make money. We're going to do our thing. And a lot of the national acts end up being like that.
Yeah.
They don't like each other,
That would absolutely drive me bonkers. I mean, I do this because I love to do it, and because it is so much fun, and people who do it get it, this is the favorite thing I get to do, and I'm lucky to be able to do it. So to be able to do it with a group of guys that I love, and we, like I said, we cut up, we have a lot of fun. I wouldn't do it at this stage of my life. I wouldn't do it any other way.
Right.
It's not worth it. I'd rather be home with my wife if that was, not to say that I don't like being home with my wife, but it's a big time commitment to do this. And I certainly wouldn't do it if I didn't like the guys.
The question is, would she agree with that statement, that she'd rather you to be home with her than out with the band? Maybe she likes you to go out and play sometime.
Well, it's really funny. When I first started in this band, like, we knew it was going to be a big time commitment. And for a while, it was a little rough. I mean, and then like a couple years down the line, if I had a weekend off, she's like, what are you doing tonight?
Why are you home?
Why are you here? So yeah, we definitely got used to it.
Jay Grant, I couldn't agree with you more. Sometimes the fill-ins add a little spark to the band. They do. They bring a little excitement to the stage sometimes, where people are get mundane and kind of into the flow of just doing their thing there. Let's talk about audience though, Bob, because we've had this talk. Bob Klein has made a comment on this show numerous, probably dozens of times, about cargo shorts.
I think that's going to be what you remember me by.
I am going to remember you for the rest of my life, that Bob is the anti-cargo shorts on stage guy, basically. But let's talk about the audience perspective for a minute at a venue. If you're out there, guys, and you're an audience member, Bob and I would like to hear from you today on what you think you consider going to a venue and making it a fun night out. If you have something that stands out that a band does or anything, we'd like to hear from you on that. But Bob, you guys are a production. You're a show, okay? It's not. I wouldn't even call you a band. I would call you a production. I mean, you are a rock band, but you are also putting on an absolutely well choreographed show.
Well, yeah. And I'll say this, just to kind of throw this out there, and I would love to hear what everybody else has to say about this in their situation. Here's the secret, and if you come to the Bell and Bear on March 21st, you'll see this and you'll hear this.
Shameless plug.
You like that?
I slid that right in, didn't you?
Yeah, we are not the greatest band you're ever going to see. We're not going to shred all night. I'm not going to sit up there and play fills that will blow your mind, and our singer's not going to sing up into an octave that you didn't realize even existed. We're a pretty good band, but what I think that we do well is we put on a show. And so, one of the thing that, Doug, our singer, what he does for a living, he's in sales. And he is very much in sales when he's up on stage. He has an ability to reach the person who's in the furthest corner of the far away corner of the building and bring them in, and interact with people. And I guess I want to know what's important. If you're just out seeing a band, if you're at your average bar, is it the most, are you more concerned with, are they great players? Are they incredible musicians? Or do you want to see a great show? Or do you want to hear, great audio and lighting production?
Yeah, exactly.
All that stuff. What's important to you at the end of the day? Because I think it's different for a lot of people. For us, it's just putting on a good show.
And I'll give you mine. My big thing about going and seeing live music is the interaction the band has with the audience. That makes me happy to see the crowd relating to the band relating to the crowd. And they're not just up there being a moving jukebox, so to speak. They're on stage to connect with the people and calling audibles as they go too, because you can have a great set list, you can have all kinds of things, but sometimes things aren't working for the night, and you got to figure out what to do to, turn on the Freebird guy in the back that's screaming for it and all that junk.
Right.
So, there's those kind of places. But yeah, guys, give us your comments if you're into musicianship. If you're into the look of the band, if they dress in costumes and all those things, if you're into that, or Are you into the sound and lighting? I mean, is that a key component for you? I mean, sound is obviously very important to all of us, but if it sounds bad, everybody knows it. If it sounds great, a lot of people don't know it. That's my opinion only.
Sure.
They can all get mad at me about that. And yes, Travis and Doug filled in really well, Bill. I agree with that. And Dewey, hold that thought. We'll get to that Q&A with Bob here in just a minute, because I think that's a great question. Oh, what else we got? So let's see if any comments are coming in on this. Chris Casey says, for me, it's about the great flowing set list that keeps the party flowing. Amen, brother.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more there, because there ain't nothing like having the dance floor at a fever pitch and then throwing some slow tune out there, because my girlfriend wants to hear it over here.
Right.
And that's like hitting the brakes and throwing a wet blanket over a great party, I always say to people. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think, on a night where you've got a crowd like that wants to dance, that wants to have a good time, whatever, like, I don't think there's any songs that are throwaways. So, we set, we make a new set list up for every single show that we do. And if we're doing something and it's not working, we're going to change it up. We're going to, or if we do have a song that we think, man, maybe this one will be better in this spot, like, we'll communicate halfway through the song and then go into that, rather than, whatever else we may have had planned.
Thank you, Valerie. That's a great comment as well. So I'd like to see musicians and patrons enjoying themselves, singing along, dancing, and a fun night. Yeah, it's a win-win when that happens. It's a win for the bar. It's a win for the band. It's a win for the audience. If everybody kind of becomes one in the place and has a good time. Let's see what Carla says here. We're getting some good comments, actually. She says, doesn't need perfection, showmanship, and connection. Yeah, and you're exactly right, Carla. And Carla was there Friday night for our friends from Uncle Rico at the Bell and the Bear. And, they're never going to say that. In fact, they were joking on stage, a bunch of old fat guys playing music, they said us a couple of times, but they're guys who get up there and enjoy what they do. They're not technically, playing every note for note perfect, and things happen and all that, but they're a good band and the audience loves them. So is that a win? I think it is.
I think it's a huge one. I mean, that's when I go out. So one of the things I love about this time of year when I'm not playing is I get to go out and see lots of music. And, that's what I want to go see. I don't need to be blown away by the baddest ass guitar solo that I've ever seen. Like, I want to see a band that is up there having fun, that are entertaining people. Like, to me, that's what it is.
Yeah, Carl, you're exactly right as well. Thank you. And bands that segue from one song to the next quickly keeps that energy going in the room. And again, when you stop and everybody's got a tune or everybody's got to do this, it really slows the mood down a little bit. And also long breaks do that as well. I mean, we all know that. And you guys, Bob, you time your breaks. I kind of watched you. You guys, you're on a time schedule, aren't you?
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no, no herding cats looking for the guy that's out back, and behind the bar and any of that. You guys know when it's time to be back on stage, and you're on stage, and the show must go on, so to speak.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's a better show that way, and that's what they pay you for. That's why they hire you. So,
Dave says, to me, it's the entire atmosphere. Went to a club in Melbourne. The band was raw. The house was literally packed, elbow to elbow. Interesting. Blown away by the love. Yeah. Bob, what creates energy in a room? What do you think? I mean, that's the age old question.
Yeah.
If we had it, we'd bottle it, but
I think it's a lot of things, but I really think it's most of the time it starts with the band and what kind of vibe they're putting off. We had a really cool show, in November, up in Strongsville, up by Cleveland, it's the closest version of the Bell and the Bear that I've seen. It's called The Local, and it's actually it's a fairly good sized club, but it's a bar, and they just absolute rock and roll hits different up there for some reason. Maybe that's why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is there. I don't know, but those those people were that we had never played there before, and those people were ready for a show. And I haven't played a show like that where people were just, they didn't know who the hell we were and didn't care. They just wanted to have a good time. And so the floor was packed with people before we even started playing. So that would be the exception. I think they created the energy. But I think a good band knows when they got to do that. So you gotta come out. For us, what works is we try and come out of the shoot with energy to burn and get them moving right away. And you know, they can see by your movements, by the looks on your face, whether you want to be there or not, and whether you want to, you know, whether you're there to have to make a good time for them. So
isn't that
I think those
too?
Yeah,
I mean, that's so true.
Yeah, I mean, to me that's where it starts, and then there's lots of other things I think that take over. But you know, a good set list, certainly helps, and then how you construct it and how you put it together and choose the songs you do and put them in the order that you do. That's a big part of it. Keep them moving.
Do you think beats per minute are important, like to keep in that, like a flow, keep the songs with a rapid beat and keep it going up, and then kind of slowly bring it back down, or not?
Yeah, I don't think it hurts. I mean,
I'm from the disco days, man. I spun records, and you lived and died by beats per minute. I mean,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly, I mean, listen, we have, I'm trying to think. We have one slow song that we play, and that's it, for a reason. And
that's a power ballad, isn't it?
It is. But because the reason we do that's when, you know, that's when for us, you know, and this isn't for every band, but for us and what we do, that's when the floor clears. So why do it? You know, you know, we'll slow it down to do some sing-alongs, but then we absolutely encourage audience participation, you know, so they're still there, they're still into it. But yeah, for the most part, we try and keep it moving as fast as we can.
And that's what Chad's saying too. Easy now. Easy there.
Put that anywhere.
Chad says, love when the band makes crowd part of the show. And Heather came in with a comment here. She says, I think you can be top-notch, best musicians out there, but if you have no charisma on stage or stage presence, you're not an entertainer. I would agree with that 100%. And I've seen some really good technical bands. If you want to sit in the audience and cross your hands here and listen to the musical perfection of somebody, it's great.
Yeah.
I want to have a party if I'm out. I want to have fun, you know.
Yeah.
That's me.
And you know what you're going out for. Like for me, you know, this is for Ceris. Crown Watts is a fucking great band. And I would
Thanks
watch
for the F-bomb.
That's a nod to Ceris. Like those guys are amazing. And I would sit and watch those guys every night of the week. Cause I grew up, I've seen Rush 36 times in my life. I'm a Rush nerd. I love watching those guys play, but I know that I'm going to a concert there. I'm not going to, you know, to dance or whatever. So they are most definitely the exception to the rule. And I would go and I would pay to see those guys play anytime. But if I'm wanting to, you know, take my wife out and go with some friends and go dance, like I want to see a band that's got tons of energy and keeps it rolling, you know.
Jay Grant says, as Lemmy said, that's Lemmy, he's saying, nobody wants to see their next door neighbor up on stage.
Right. Yeah.
And Dewey's making a comment, says Rockhouse plays some great medleys. Love the Eddie Money and Duran Duran incorporates so much into their show. You guys do. It's not just hair metal. It's not. You guys have a wide variety of music, Bob, that you play, but it's still in that genre of taking you back in time to your MTV days, I think.
That's 100. Well, first of all, I appreciate that, Dewey. That's really cool of you, man. Yeah, it started out that way, and then we kind of figured out that, you know, we can do some other stuff and get away with it, and people are still going to dig it. And really, some of the stuff that goes outside of that box is our best stuff that we get the most response to. So why wouldn't we? Yeah, we still look silly and, you know, have the clothes and the wigs and all that stuff. So, you know, I guess seeing somebody play that, you know, like Duran Duran wearing that stuff, I don't know, it works for us.
Right. And, you know, there's different styles of entertaining from a stage. There is people who move you when they play their music. There is people who make you want to party and dance. it's all different. And I watched a video this week from Hamilton's Urban Backyard where Gina and Johnny were down there, Gina McCann, and they were singing, she was singing Hallelujah. All right. And by the end of the video, I've got tears streaming down my face. I mean, she's so powerful. And that's an example of you can blow people away with a slow song. I mean, absolutely. You can move a whole room and you could hear a pin drop in that room, and Gina just slayed it. And that's just an example of being an entertainer on stage, you know, and they're fantastic. And I can't say enough about them.
I have not had the pleasure of getting to see them live. I have seen plenty of videos, and her voice. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I mean, that could just bring me to tears. And that also reminds me, like, for what works for us, I am by no means saying that this has to work for everybody, because yes, that's what they do and that's what they're great at and that's their wheelhouse. And they're amazing at it.
When you go see their show, when you go see Gina and Johnny, you know, I mean, you're going to get those powerful bluesy tunes and things like that, and soulful singing. When they go see Rock House, they're expecting a rock show. I mean, they're expecting to dance and party. And Mark has a great comment. He's the first one so far that's really said that sound is the most important for him. Yeah. And I'm a sound nerd too. I am. I'm one of those guys that kind of picks it apart. And if I can't hear things in the mix, I absolutely despise seeing a keyboard player back there playing and you can't hear the keys, and that kind of thing. And it happens a lot. Yeah. Happens more than you think, but or the sound man's asleep at the wheel and he realizes, oh, that was a solo. I should have probably brought that up a little in the mix and things, but it happens. But we've got some really good sound people here in our area. I know you do. Your sound was perfect that night. The guys you had doing that for you in Lebanon when I was there was the sound.
They were actually, that was part of the deal. We didn't know them from Adam, but they did a great job.
Didn't they? I mean, I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, they were good. They had tons of stuff with them.
They brought the world. I think they were ready to do a rock concert. Brett says a mix of different genres and the set list and definitely connecting with the crowd. Yeah, and genres are, we've talked about genres, a sticky subject because, some people get into a loophole of all they do is country or all they do is rock and it's got to be heavy rock. And it's, but any band that plays all B-sides off the heavy rock albums is never going to be as successful as the people that play the hits that people want to hear and sing along to. I mean, if you don't know the words of the song, are you bored? I don't know. Maybe. I'm really pissing people off today by saying this stuff, but it's just the way I feel. And Bob, you've got such a knowledge, but that energy and vibe you guys create, does it ever not happen? Have you ever had it not happen?
Totally no.
I wouldn't think so with your band, but
no, and I think that's just because the guys are professionals, and listen, all gigs are not the same, right? So I'm surprised I just said gig. I usually say show, but so all shows are not the same. You're naturally going to be, more fired up for some than you are for others. But at the same time, it's your job to be up there and entertaining. You're getting paid the same, it might be different pay, but they're paying just as, as well as the other ones are too. So I just think it's our job to put on the best show that we possibly can. I would agree. And you do. I mean, when I said that, it was kind of a loaded question because I know you guys, you could entertain 6 people or you could entertain 6,000 people. It doesn't. I mean, I would much rather be playing for 6,000 than 6, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And you better entertain those 6 people.
Hey, and we're running out of time, but I want to get Dewey's question in here. He put in there earlier. He wanted to know if Rock House has ever been screwed by a venue or event. If so, do you have the story?
I wish I had a really spicy, great story for you, but the answer really is no. Not that I can recall. I hear all kinds of stories of we agreed to this amount and they didn't have the crowd that they were expecting. And so they tried to pay you that amount, lesser amount, or No, I tell you one of the reasons why, and I can't stress the importance of this one enough is contracts. Usually, we use a lot of contracts. Doug, for if there's and this is mostly for I'm not saying we use contracts for every show. A lot of like a bar shows a lot that we have relationships with people that we know. We're not messing with contracts and stuff like that. But if there's any kind of travel involved, even if it's an hour away, there's just so many variables, so many things that can happen that are out of your control. We haven't, no, not that I can think of. We've worked with some people who, after the show was over, paid us, and then we just said, you know what, we probably don't want to play there again. It could be for lots of different reasons, but just as far as, getting screwed over, I guess, knock on wood, we've been pretty fortunate on that.
Well, good. That's a good thing. And I think that comes with being a pro too. I mean, what you said, all the things you have in place that eliminate those things from happening in the beginning before you get there. And they're like, oh yeah, you don't get a sound check or you don't get this. Well, those are things that are in that contractual, whether it's a verbal agreement or a written agreement, it's things that need to be discussed ahead of time. So.
Yeah. Now that I think we've had a couple of shows that were canceled last minute, there was a venue in Cleveland that we play, and we're playing there again because they kind of righted it. But it's an outdoor venue, and on Friday night, all of their employees walked out on them because they hadn't been paid in weeks. And we found out Saturday morning that that we committed a Saturday night to them, and that's a night where we could have been playing somewhere else had we known that this was going to happen. And stuff like that stuff happens. And we had hotels booked that we lost out on and stuff like that. But, that's not as bad as it's gotten for us.
Gotcha. Guys, we appreciate all your comments and things. We're running out of time here. We've gone way long. And I think, Bob, you were up to 2 F-bombs today. So that we're sorry for, there you go, 3, for being so damn boring today, ladies and gentlemen. But that's what Bob and I do. We talk the technical side of things. We'll get Ceris back next week, and she can lighten your life up a little bit with all her attitude. But Bob, I want to thank you, man. You're always a great guest.
Thanks.
March 21st, the Bell and the Bear, Rock House coming from Columbus.
Yep.
To play the Bell and the Bear. And there's another roll of the dice Ceris has done. So bringing a band from that far and all that is a risky thing to do when you're a local venue owner. So let's pack the house. Put it in your calendars now, guys, March 21st. In fact, I think we're going to turn that into another one of our Hall Around Town watch parties and awesome. See if we can't get some people there. And I love this band. I love your band, Bob. You guys entertained the hell out of me when I saw you. And I can't wait to see you in that environment. That's going to be so cool.
My 80-year-old mother will be there in the front row dancing with some of her friends. And I've got a niece that is turning 21. So for those of you who don't know, I grew up in Montgomery. So I went to Sycamore High School down there, and I've been here since 91 when I went to Ohio State, and I just never went back. But so I've got a 21-year-old niece who is going to nursing school at UC. She will be turning 21 on that night. For me, this is cool.
It's going to be a party.
Going home and playing in my old backyard. A bunch of classmates of mine are going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Well, I'm looking forward to it as well, Bob. And thank you for being a wonderful guest today. You have so much knowledge, and you deliver it so well, and we appreciate you filling in for the lovely Ceris today.
I am just a schlep like anybody else, but I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to Ceris being back next week. I saw some pictures. She's on the beach somewhere, but it looks like it's maybe still a little chilly where she is. I don't know.
I think she might be in Mexico, but I'm not going to divulge that in case her fans are around. She
right.
The paparazzi will find her or something like that down there. Bob, tell them where to find your band on social media, buddy.
Facebook, it's easy. It's Rock House Columbus. It used to be just Rock House, and then there's we actually own that name, but there's other people that have taken it, and we're, like I said, we're just a cover band. We're not like going to go after people, say you can't be that. And so it's Rock House Columbus. I believe we're on Instagram, or website is rockhouseofficial.com, and that's got all of our dates on it, everything. So we're loaded up. We've got, I think, like 65 shows or something like that this year. It may take a couple more, but hopefully that's it. That's a lot.
Wonderful. And yeah, they do occasionally come around to us here, guys, and they will be here at March 21st. Bell and the Bear join Rockhouse that night. Bob Klein, thank you so much, my friend.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate you, bud.
All right, guys, we'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, with the band at noon. I'm bringing you the Winter Blues Experience, something I get to host this week as the MC. And we're going to have some national acts on with us tomorrow, along with the local folks who are putting this on. Winter Blues Experience at the Manor House. You can find tickets online for that if you'll look that up as well. So thanks for watching today, guys. We'll see you next time right here. All Around Town Radio. We getting out of here. Boy, we ran long, Bob.
Yeah, I like to talk.
We did. It's okay, man. I like to hear you talk. It is. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Working for the weekend, and I want to see a show.
And you are filling in for Ceris, so you get to do this.
Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our sponsors or any entities they represent.
God, that was great. That was legalese right there. Thanks. We'll see y'all. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.